Green gas giants are some of the most flamboyant planets in the Milky Way galaxy. They wield strange, abnormal, and striking discoloration within their upper cloud decks. At the time of recording, there are only 45 known green gas giants. Of course, the majority of them are along the paths to Colonia and Sagittarius A star, as those routes are the most heavily trafficked. But other than those, GGGs have been found in the most scarcest of areas. They really can spawn anywhere. The one you're looking at now was the first ever documented one, found in the Perseus arm, previously lost to time but has since been rediscovered in August 3308. Anyway, I've spent a long time trying to visit all of the known green gas giants around the galaxy. Save for a few, I have done just that. Now I think it is time to do a comparison. In this video, we will study each known type of green gas giant, and see how their surfaces change between the different classes, as well as within a given class. Let's dive in and visit these mesmerizing, strange, and awesome glowing green gas giants. The cause of these colors are canonized to be bioluminescent radioplankton or carbon-based algae that interact with the intense radiation given off from the gas giants they reside within. When manners first began to stumble across these neon worlds, they were only thought to be found on the gas giants harboring ammonia-based and water-based life, with their airborne algae being responsible. However, as time went on, this was found to be not the case, and almost every type of gas giant class has been found with these exotic life forms. For each green gas giant, there is an addendum to the normal planet description describing the mechanisms for the discoloration. This varies depending on the green gas giant you encounter. Here are some examples. This one is a gas giant with water-based life. Notice how the description is longer, and then we go to the green gas giant with water-based life and is much shorter. Next is the Class 3 gas giant. Notice how the wording changes between the two. Again, I'll tell you the classes that do not have known green gas giant subtypes at the time of recording. These are Class 5 gas giants, helium-rich gas giants, and helium gas giants. These are the three rarest types of gas giant, so that makes sense. They may very well be out there, sitting and waiting for the next intrepid commander to encounter it. Alright, what do most of the known ones have in common? Well, as their name strongly suggests, they share a green discoloration somewhere on their surfaces, some way more than others. But that's not the only new color that pops up with green gas giants. Along with the vivid green, sometimes comes bright pink discoloration, as well as a lesser maroon color. On a good majority of green gas giants, their poles show some changes, whether that be barely any with a dark maroon or flush with green. Now for the most common green gas giant, that would be the most common gas giant in general, Class 1. Before you now are a few Class 1 green gas giants that I have visited throughout my travels. Viewing them now, we can shuffle them into 4 distinct categories based on how they look. Let's call them categories A, B, C, and D. Category A features pretty plain surfaces, maybe a little green, but overall mostly tan in color. They share one thing in common, and that is the maroon color at one or both of the polar regions. Category B shows more severe maroon discoloration. This time the bands are not limited to the poles and cover the majority of the surface. The poles can change green, but not all of them have been shown to do so. There are some green patches elsewhere, mostly within or surrounding storms. Category C switches the dominating color from maroon to a brighter pink color. There aren't many distinct cloud bands, if any. This category 2 can be seen with green poles, but not on all of them. Category D is taken by only one planet at the moment. This planet, located in NEA J-IT-M C9-19, also nicknamed Viridian Dreams, shows major green discoloration all over its surface compared to the other ones, and presenting clear, distinct cloud banding of green and pink. I have to say, this is one of my favorites. As I said earlier, every green gas giant type has its own special description when looking at the system map. Often these extra sentences start with this particular gas giant. Class 1s are included, taking wording from the standard life-bearing gas giants, mentioning free-floating radioplankton, carbon-based algae that extract energy from the planet's intense radiation flux. At the time of recording, there are 13 known Class 1 green gas giants. Moving on to the Class 2 green gas giants. This, in my opinion, is the most boring of the green gas giant classes, as even the ones with the most discoloration don't have that much in terms of discolored surface area. All green Class 2s share their usual white chalky color, except where there are usually bright gold clouds, the color has changed to bright pink, and the dark brown features have switched to green. Even then, green patches that do show up are either flanking major storm cyclones or sparsely sprinkled around the planet. Class 2 GGGs share the same distinguishing sentence as Class 1s, mentioning again free-floating carbon-based algae. Don't get me wrong, the ones with the pink do look interesting, but there just isn't much variety found between the ones that are known. I know I only showed you 6, but at the time of recording, there are 10 known Class 2 green gas giants. Class 3 gas giants are the wackiest of the bunch. These planets can range to barely any green at all to be completely enveloped in bioluminescent green. It hurts my eyes to look at for long periods of time. The first category of Class 3 GGGs are very underwhelming and aren't really worth visiting unless you want a codex entry. These planets maintain their normal blue color, except the areas surrounding and including the tiny storms scattered around the surface have changed, with wispy pink clouds and tiny green dots. I might as well include this one as well, as even though it has a different cloud pattern, the way the surface changes when green is similar to the blue ones. The next planet doesn't necessarily fit into the next category, as significantly more of the surface has been changed. In fact, this is where we can see the appearance of the bright purple color right here, a color I've only seen on Class 3 green gas giants. This pink-green Class 3, known as Dreamer's Blush, is special because it is the only one to have the majority of its surface pink. That might be because if it wasn't considered green, it would be the normal Class 3 that comes around every now and again, with the green clouds being the regular white wispy ones, such as this example. Now for the more fun ones. These lighthouses of planets show extreme green colors all over them, again with that hint of that bright purple color underlying it. The view of these in-game is stunning, and every commander should at least visit one of them in their career. And if you're not too apt in straying far from the bubble, this one, HerrEurobeat C21-1, is the closest green Class 3 known to Sol at just under 1400 light years away. The entire Class 3 description was modified, as mentioned earlier in the video, but the reasoning given for its neon appearance is luminous vapor that it can be detected in the planet's upper atmosphere, suggesting a form of extremophile bioluminescent life. At the time of recording, there are 9 known Class 3 green gas giants. For Class 4, there is only one known. There are many green stripes, which probably replace the tan color that would normally be there. There is still the usual red color here for normal Class 4s, but there is a third color not found on any other classes yet, this dark pink-red color. Distinctly different from the purple found in Class 3s. They are found within both types of cloud bands, as well as being the transition line between green and red if you look closely. This is a must-see for any commanders traveling between Colonia and Sagittarius A. The reasoning in the planet's description for it being green is the same as the previous Class 3s, luminous vapor being detected in the upper atmosphere. As mentioned earlier, there have yet to be any Class 5 green gas giants discovered. As such, we can only guess what they might look like, as well as helium-rich and helium gas giants. I will definitely be sure to cover one of those 3 if they are found. Alright, let's move on to the more common life-bearing gas giants, starting with green gas giants with water-based life. I need to start off by saying that the codex entry for the green variant of this planet type is bugged. Let me show you what I mean the codex. So, let's go over the Perseus arm where the first green gas giant discovered was found. It's a gas giant with water-based life. And you see it doesn't show up here. It should say green gas giant right here, You can see the class 3 works just fine. But, yeah, doesn't show up here. But let's go back to the Inner Orion Spur, where a green gas giant with ammonia-based life is at, right by the bubble. And you can see it's not here. Ammonia-based life isn't here. Instead, it's where the water-based life should be. I'll even show you. You click on it. Go to the system map here. Right here. Look at that. Ammonia. Ammonia-based life. So, why is it doing this? So here we are in my journal when I first discovered the lost green gas giant. So the body name for it is Shell-I DLP D5-274-7. Now, it's a green gas giant, and it hasn't been found before. So, normally, it would trigger a codex discovery for a green gas giant with water-based life. You can see it is green gas giant with water-based life, but there is no event, codex event that would normally pop up for the other green gas giants. Now, let's head over to other journal with when I discovered the green gas giant with ammonia-based life. Now you can see, where is that? I just had it over here somewhere. Find next. Bingo, okay. Gas giant with ammonia-based life, so I scanned. However, the thing that was generated, water life. Green gas giant with water life. So, it overtook the declaration in the codex instead of the actual water-based life name. And instead, what the actual green gas giant with water-based life reached the codex is just a standard water life gas giant. So that's why it's not appearing on the codex. Actually, this was brought to the issue forum for Frontier when we discovered the lost green gas giant. And we have step to reproduce, blah blah blah. You can see how it doesn't actually show up, even though it is water gas giant. And we have all these people saying, hey, we have this exact same problem. You see how this should be the right entry, but it's not. Instead of ammonia, it's water. But Frontier said it's by design. That makes no sense. They'll only say that if changing it would break something. So if Frontier know about it, and they're not going to change it, then there's really nothing we can do about it anyway, right? This means you gotta keep an eye out for gas giants with water-based life, because the codex entry won't tell you you discovered a green variant. Okay, getting into how they actually look, there is some consistency in the cloud patterns they have, and all water-based life green gas giant colors consist of at least a maroon dark red, and of course green. The most common types found are ones with a simple dark red base, alternating cloud band colors from red to green. There can be some dirty brown tan colors as well. Some stray far from this, however, in the case of the green gas giant in Shell-I DLP D5-274, and to an extent in Elo Prow KW-L C8-32. This is a close example of what it might look like if it were not green. Here is the description for the green variant, as seen earlier in the video. At the time of recording, there are only 7 green gas giants with water-based life. With ammonia-based life green gas giants, there are only 4 known at the moment. Visually, they can be split into 2 categories, one with not that much discoloration whatsoever, and ones that have dark red cloud bands with much more green than their counterparts. They are found to maintain the usual muddy green color found on normal ammonia life gas giants. And of course, the codex entry for the green subtypes will be found under the water-based life instead in the codex. Actually, this planet you're looking at now, in Cold 285 sector VU-M C8-1, is the closest green giant to Sol, at 299.55 light-years away. The green ammonia-based life description is the same as the green water-based life description, except with one word change, below the surface cloud layer instead of below the water cloud layer. The final green planet type we will go over today is one of my all-time favorites and is currently one of a kind. This is the green water giant, currently found in the Reicher's Hope region orbiting a neutron star. From the poles, it still has the same gray-gold coloration as water giants of this kind do, but moving further down that surface becomes enveloped in maroon pink with long, narrow green equatorial streaks. The reasoning for the green on this planet is the same as the gas giants with water-based and ammonia-based life. Now that we're here, I need to... Wait a minute. What are those green things? You see them too, right? Like, right there. They're green. No. I'm pretty sure we're seeing things. Let's go to another gas giant. Nope. Another one. Alright, they're not going away. Alright, I guess we need to talk about them. Ladies and gentlemen, K10-Type Anomalies. These green, wispy, eye-looking things are K10-Type Anomalies. These green anomalies occur in notable stellar phenomena either in a planet's rings or elsewhere in a system at one of the planet's stable Lagrange points. They only occur in the galactic center and Reicher's Hope region, and their only condition to be generated is if there is a green gas giant in the system. That sort of saves you time if you are strictly searching for GGGs in either of these systems, as a quick glance in the FSS or the nav panel can check if there is an NSP in system or not. If there are no NSPs, there is no green gas giant in that system. Again, only for the Galactic Center and Reicher's Hope. However, some reason their codex entry is submitted under the L-type anomaly instead of the K-type anomaly. Alright, those are all the classes of green gas giants known in January 3309. Again, only 45 of them exist out of millions and millions of gas giants discovered already. Incredibly rare, but still found somewhat regularly. The shortest length of time gone between the discovery of 2 new green gas giants was 2 days, which makes one think, why are these things so rare? In actuality, these green gas giants were not supposed to be in the game. This might simply be a color used by the game to denote a missing texture. Since they do not harm or break gameplay in any way and are fun to look at, Printer opted to keep them and create a special subclass for these planets within the codex, separate from the standard gas giants. So what causes this phenomenon? We can only guess, as there doesn't exist a Q&A with any members of the development team regarding the generation of GGGs. So here goes my theory. The hue of green that shows up on these planets isn't just any random green color. It's the greenest green you can get using hexadecimal to generate colors on planets. In this case, the hex number is 00FF00. I know it says 00D700 for green, but that's because I used the color picker from pictures of gas giants that I took, and the star temperature probably affected the brightness of that color. But it's definitely 00FF00. So for how planets get their colors in the first place, there's probably a certain scheme the generator has to follow based on surface temperature and what planet type that was assigned to the body. In an effort to make things as different as possible, a random number generator was used to decide how it should look from the parameters it was given, so not every gas giant of that type looks the exact same. It is most likely within here that the error takes place. It's also important to note that this bug doesn't actually change the shapes and patterns of clouds, only the color. In order to fully understand what is happening here, I need to talk about integer overflow. Imagine you're driving a car. You've driven it for a very long time. On the road you notice your odometer is currently reading 999,998 miles driven. As you're looking, you see it tick over to 999,999. What's going to happen when you go one more mile? Just over a minute later, you see this. The odometer's counter just skipped all the way back to 0. Congratulations, you've driven 1,000,000 miles, but none at the same time. It's just that the odometer was not designed to display a 7-digit number. That's a really simple example, but I believe the same thing is happening with green gas giants, unhandled integer overflow. The logic that is used to create the colors uses a random number generator. Gas giant planets show different colors depending on the number that the logic returned. Usually, this is all fine and dandy, but for all 45 of these gas giants, a number was chosen that the generator did not expect, and as a result, outputted a bogus number that caused the G in RGB to overflow around to 255, which the game rendered green. And what I find interesting about this is that Frontier obviously know how this happens and made tests to tell the game to recognize a green gas giant when a commander scans it. So if they could be so kind of tell me I'm wrong and explain how it actually works, I would greatly appreciate it. And here we are at the end of the video. About time, right? I hope you've at least learned a few things throughout the study, as I sure have. Feel free to put your own theories in the comments as to how green gas giants come to be. With the new year comes new discoveries, and I cannot wait to see what new green gas giants are uncovered for us to visit. Maybe we'll finally get that green Class 5 gas giant. Maybe we'll get something even better. Happy hunting, Commanders. I have been Commander Organic. Till next time.